Well, hello there. Before I get started, I'd like to say a special thank you to all you out there who have been subscribing. We've just broken 3,000, and I appreciate all you following and staying with us through this entire time. Now on to the review. What we have here is the new Transformers Legacy Kickback. And honestly, we had a almost perfect figure before. Though it be a smaller class, I really enjoyed the last Insecticon that we'd gotten. But we have a new one, so let's go ahead and check them out. Now, one thing I want to point out, as some of you know, I have a background in design, and I always like to sort of take a look at the packaging. And this is the new set of plastic-free packaging that Hasbro is doing. Now, of course, there's a little plastic on the straps and stuff, but there's no longer a plastic window. It is a new type of package, and I guess it's supposed to be a little bit more eco-friendly, which is nice. However, as has been for a while, it's still not a super great packaging for collectors. And the reason being, one, you know, who knows how people might be able to pull accessories and stuff out of that. That's a minor gripe, but my biggest gripe is actually package storage. Hasbro's liking to do all these sort of odd shapes in their boxes. Honestly, I just want a rectangular box. But that's me. If I want to stack a box and have a handful on top of each other for display, or just store the boxes if I keep them, that's my only gripe in that respect. But as far as, you know, illustrations, the illustrations are fine. We have the character on the side, insect mode on the front, some other characters I assume is just teasing. Some of these are actually come out in this wave. And then, of course, the back showing the character, as well as a QR code and text specs. So the packaging is not bad. I do think visually it works. I think there's some interesting things on here. I like that they're going eco-friendly, but I do wish they were rectangles. So anyway, let's get this guy out of the package and see if he's worthy of our collection. All right, now we have him out of the package. Let's go ahead and throw a stock G1 image up there of what he used to look like. And you can really see they captured the proportions very well. The wings, the way the legs are placed, actually even some of the places where there's decals and shapes, molding, all that stuff really captured it. Now, as you see, he's actually fairly rigid looking where he stands up, very blocky. And I think that, in essence, really captures what G1 is. Now, if we bring out the Legends version, you can see it's a far more dynamic sculpt. And in some respects, I actually like it better. There's some really cool things going on with this sculpt, even though it's a smaller size. And it's a little bit odd in some respects, like the arms and things. But they really got the bug look for it, and I thought it was a really awesome rendition of him. But if you're a collector who wants to see things more reference G1, but being modernized, this really is it. This really takes it. I think visually, I really like it. The only thing that stands out to me is I think the antennae are a little too bug looking. I think maybe if they were a little bit more mechanical, but that probably takes away from the animation look. Same thing with what's going on here in the chest. Now, the original was hollow on the inside, and I actually like how this is on here where they really recapture that. They have some sort of silver backing on the yellow here, and I think that's to make up for the lack of electroplating. But I can't say that I absolutely love that. I think if it was left clear, I might actually like it better. But it is fine as is, and it makes him feel more solid, where if it was left blank, he'd look more toy-like. The one thing I do wish they did, and we're not going to see this because I think that those days are over, is electroplating. I would have liked to have seen some electroplating on some of the plastic, but silver paint is as good as it's going to get for our generation. Now let's go ahead and look at articulation. He has a bend at the bicep. He has rotation. And this is what I think is actually really excellent engineering, is this shoulder that pops up like that. That is really nice. I think that allows for a lot more poses, and I do like that. And he does have the insect leg back here, and you can kind of pretend it's like a elbow blade or something. But he also does have rotation at the shoulder. And then we have hip rotation, a joint that moves out, rotation there, got a little swivel. Knee bend is like so. Can't go any further because we have the insect parts here. And let's see if we pop them out, if that changes anything. No, that's as far as the knee can go. And then we have the nice addition of ankle tilt, which is, I think, integral to all the new developments. One thing it is lacking wrist rotation. I don't think that would have been too hard to implement, especially seeing how thick the plastic is here. We have a little bit of hollowness back here, though. And the head has a little bit of wiggle, but due to the blocky design, there's not a lot can be done. Wings can also move if you find use for that. And the antenna are movable as well. They're on a single part. I don't know if they're molded or painted. They almost look painted, which makes me a little bit weary of moving them too much because you don't want the paint to come off. But for articulation, it's pretty good. And on top of all that, look at that. Waist rotation. So for being a G1 homage that is highly posable, they really nailed it. And I mean, it is even more posable than this because there's things like waist rotation, things like that this just doesn't have. But yeah, I think they both belong in my collection, but for different reasons. Now let's talk about what the accessories are. So I do like the little gun he has here. It's got a magazine here and a little bit of purple paint, kind of a metallic purple paint, which is kind of cool. Everything is painted except for the handle, which, you know, it'd be nice if this was silver as well. I'd rather they cast these things in gray plastic. However, it is fine, especially since when it's put into them or being held, you're not going to see that stock. And then their other accessory are these. And honestly, I don't like them. It's nice that they're included. It's nice that there's extra. I guess it helps justify the price, but I would have rather seen something else. This goes as part of the transformation, though I actually probably going to leave this in the box or give this to my weaponizers as something to build with. But as far as just belonging with him, they're kind of guns. In a way, they kind of look like a leaf or wings, or they're very organic looking. And I would have liked if there was a way where these pegs were offset, where it could have been made into one single piece and maybe be a sword or a blade. But I mean, it's fine. It's fine, it's included, but this is probably my least favorite thing in the packaging. So let's go ahead and get him into insect mode and see how he stacks up there. And here we have the insect mode, which is actually a fairly simple transformation. Now, what I will say, I have put these on here for the sake of showing the transformation. I still don't care for these, but that's what they look like if you use them. I do think it has a better insect mode without them. It's much cleaner and it references the original, I feel like, better. Now, there is sort of articulation in this mode. However, it's a little flimsy. So all this extra stuff that we've got added in here with the hip joints and stuff does make this a little bit more prone to move, which can mess up your display. And these other things can move. They have a decent bit of resistance. These back legs and these front legs can move. As far as articulation, though, other than the wings and all these little parts here, it's really a display piece. And it does capture the G1 effect, and I like how it hides the face here. That's pretty well, though I'd be careful that you scratch the paint up here. It may not, but just beware that I'd raise the head before putting this piece down just to avoid that. And it captures the look. It really looks the part. And I'm not going to force this. I didn't see it in the instructions. There's a hinge here. And you would think that this opens, but looking at the yellow plastic and how it actually has tabs that go on each side, I think they deleted that piece of articulation, which is a shame. This should have been able to open and act as a cockpit or something like that, but it seems by doing that, they've killed it, and I don't know why. And I don't really see any screws for taking it apart. I would kind of like to mess with it and see if I could modify it, but they kind of got away from putting screws and things. They're using glues and stuff now. That does make it a little bit harder to modify your transformers and give them upgrades. But that being said, it does capture the G1 look. It is fine for what it is. It is an insect. But to bring the Legends back out here for comparison, even though it is a little bit hard to hold together in the back part as well, it's not terrible because there's not a lot of weight to it. This is a better insect. This is a really good figure, and I think it's probably the pinnacle of the Legends Insecticons that they had done in the past 10 years. Not perfect, but really good. And as you see, this is really G1, not perfect as well, but it captures the essence of G1. So if that's what you like, that's what I'd say go for. If you want something that's a little bit fun and dynamic, I still would say to pick this one up. I really like it. It's a really good figure. But these are great in their own respect. That said, they're hitting shelves now, so happy hunting. And let us know in the comments below if this is worthy of your collection. And once again, make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time.